Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel, and let's go ahead and talk about Superman. Okay, let's get right to it and talk about Superman, starring David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Hoult, and some other great actors and actresses as well, including Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, the Green Lantern. So let's get right into it because this is a film that has been divisive for some people before it even came out. People were complaining about this one. Oh, it's not Henry Cavill as Superman. And don't get me, guys, don't get me wrong. I Henry's my boy when it comes to being Superman. I think Cavill does a great job. But you know what? We can have nice things, guys. We can. We can have the best of both worlds. We can have that dark, brooding style of Zack Snyder and what he presented for us, with his DC universe. We can also have James Gunn's version of Superman, and David Cornsweet does a great job. I think he really embodies a newer version of Superman. Superman, he's a little bit younger, and he's still kind of he's not hasn't really gotten into those big battles yet. And I think that's something that Gunn, hopefully we're going to see as his new DC universe progresses, movie after movie. But this one, and not to mention that Rachel Brosnahan does a great job as Lois Lane. I think the chemistry between both of them is it's undeniable. They have great chemistry between the two of them. Now, this film, and it's not really spoilers. It's out there, guys. I think people pretty much already kind of have an idea and know that this film, it's really not an origin story. It's not. This thing just drops you right into the battle. So if there's any kind, let's get right into it. If I do drop any spoilers, I'll try not to, guys. But if any of this does seem like spoilers to you guys, go out, see the movie, because it definitely deserves you going to see it. Cause I'm telling you right now, you will not be disappointed. Then come back and check out the rest of the review. So the film, it just sticks you right into the battle. I mean, Superman, like I said, he's younger. He's a younger version of Superman, but he's already established. He already, people know about Superman, and the battle is already begun as soon as the film starts. We already, the first thing we see is that shot from the trailer with Superman basically getting just dumped right into the snow, right near the Fortress of Solitude. Him whistling for Krypto, who I think Krypto does steal the show in a lot of the scenes for this film. I do love Krypto, but that's kind of like how this, it's he's already been through some of those battles. So once that happens, again, there's no origin to this one. Superman. Like I said, he is established. He's already been in a battle. He's already got his butt kicked, and he needs to get repaired because he is badly injured. So of course he whistles for Krypto. Krypto takes him to the fortress, and we're off and running from there. And I love Gunn for doing that. James Gunn has not always hit it out of the park for me with some of his films. I mean, obviously the Guardians of the Galaxy, love those films, but there's been some other ones that are kind of like a little lukewarm. I don't hate, but a little lukewarm on them. But this one, I love how it just gets right to it. There's no holding your hand, not walking you through the steps, telling it a million times over and over again. Okay, this is him coming from Krypton and and all this stuff. No, it's there. It's front and center. And Luthor is already established. He hates. Nicholas Hoult does a great job as Lex Luthor, and he hates everything to do with Superman. If you are a Superman follower, if you believe in Superman, you are on his hit list. He will go after you. And again, I'm not going to spoil anything. All I'm going to say is that, like, we obviously we know he is the antagonist in this film, and there is just the some of the dialogue that he delivers is just so on point for what Lex would say. So I think everything works so well with the dialogue that Cornsweet is saying as Superman, or Clark Kent, what Rachel Brosnahan saying as Lois Lane, and no, again, Nicholas Hoult doing a great job as Lex. But what about our other characters? What about like Mr. Terrific? He's terrific. That's all I can say, guys. He is great. Unfortunately, the actor's name is slipping my mind right now, but he does a really good job. And just like Crypto, he does steal the scenes that he is in. And Nathan Fillion does a good job as Guy Gardner. I think Mr. Terrific does a little bit better job. I would like to see more from Fillion, but he still does a good job. And Hawk Girl, she does a good job too. She's really not she's not front and center as much as the other characters in the film, but it establishes what Gunn is going for with this new vision of DC, and I'm all about it. Again, like I said, we're gonna have some spoilers. We know Supergirl is in this. I'm not gonna say exactly where she comes in this film, but we know. I mean, her name pops up in the credits and everything. We know she's in this. It's not really a spoiler, at this point that she does show up because we are establishing her character. Like I said, she's not really, again, I'm not gonna tell you when she comes into the film, but you get an idea of what the character is, heading into her film, which is supposed to come out next year. So I'm looking forward to that. She looks great. She does. Um, so yeah, I love this. How everything is established already. The interaction between all the characters just works. It all ties together perfectly. Luthor trying to turn the world against Superman, saying that he isn't, involved in, that because he's an alien and he's come here to take over Earth and just, destroy humanity. And I just love that how he's able to twist things. At the same time, Luthor has a lot of things going on behind the scenes that people are not aware of. And he's the puppet master, pulling a lot of strings in a lot of different directions in this film. But I can't wait. I honestly, I just cannot wait to see where this thing goes and to see another Superman film. Because now that we've already established him and now that it's already off and running, I want to see more of Corn Sweat as Superman. And give me more Crypto, guys. I really, I was off and on whether or not I was kind of hot and cold at times, whether or not he's going to work, but it does. I think it does. And I went to see it at the drive-in, and everybody was so quiet in the film. I mean, and in just standing outside, and it's great to see it at the drive-in, and everybody's just really attentive and watching the film. And people brought their dogs too, which was really cool. There were a couple dogs that actually kind of looked like Crypto a little bit, and that was, and even they were quiet. Like they barked a little bit before the film started. They were absolutely quiet when the film began, and I absolutely enjoyed that. I thought it was fantastic, really did. So for me, all the naysayers, you know what? It's all noise to me. Make your own opinion, make your own judgment on this film. I think it definitely stands up on its own and it's worth going out to see. If you are a comic book fan, guys, I'm telling you, this is about as comic book as you're going to get. And I think it delivers. For me personally, I think it delivers. And dare I say it could be my top film of the year so far. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go out and I'm going to say it's my top film for 2025 so far. So we'll have to see, like it's already like mid-year. This is my top film of the year. Can it be dethroned by the end of the year? We shall see. So guys, like, subscribe, and comment if you get the chance, and I'll catch you in another episode. Take care. Bye.